Hey guys, this is the only guide you'll need to write good outbound copy that actually sells. So we'll go over the exact components that make up a good email copy, break each of the components down into simpler parts so that you get a deep understanding of each of them. And we'll look at some winning examples of the copy as well, which have brought me and my clients like tens of thousands of dollars in revenue. So that sounds good. Let's get started. So the first thing that we'll need to do is essentially break up the email into several different components. The first component is essentially, relevance. So why are you reaching out, right? We'll go over each of them in detail after this, but the first thing is relevance. The second part is offer. The third part is risk reversal. The fourth part is examples of work, or you can also call it case studies, or like actual results. The fifth part is CTA, and the sixth part is probably signature. Um, there's another part that I could probably call it as, the zeroth part, which is the subject line. But we will keep the subject line for the last. I think we'll be getting a lot of idea about how to write a subject line that actually converts better, with better, more people actually opening your email and reading your email. But that will be after we go over the actual email copy that sells. So one is, the first one is relevance. So relevance is essentially why are you writing this email and why is this recipient going to care? So it answers two questions. The first question is, who are you? And the second question is, why should this prospect care? Relevance essentially, relevance can be a mixture of you personalizing the email to suit that person at that company for that specific problem, or you are talking about a certain thing that happened in that company, or a certain piece of content that you noticed from that person who you're reaching out to. Or you can have a specific hiring role of that company, or you can have certain fact about that company that you found from scraping their website, or scraping their Google business profile, or scraping their LinkedIn profile, and so on. So essentially, relevance is just simple, simply just the prospect understanding that this is for them and them only. This wasn't a email blast that was going out to like 5 to 10,000 people per day. And if you do it this right, the prospect will actually read your email in full. Most of the emails that actually get deleted or archived, or worse, marked as spam, the problem with uh, the problem with that is like either the subject line is bad or the relevance part is bad. And this is like the first thing that you need to make sure is dialed in, because if people are completely turned off by your first one or two lines of the email, they're not going to read the entire thing, and they're definitely not gonna read the CTA or reply to your email. um, so relevance is extremely necessary, and there's simply a way to do this that just converts better. And people think that this email was written just as a one-on-one conversation for them and not blasted out to like 5,000 people. All right. So the best part about writing the relevance line or lines, in case I typically do like 1 to 2 lines at most, is that you need to have more info on that company than just the basics. By basics, I mean email, phone number, company name, headcount. These are like the basic stuff that each of your leads in your list that you upload to Smart Lead or Instantly for running a campaign has. Without these, without this data, you'll probably not run a campaign, right? But other than the basics, these basic variables, these basic fields, you need more info. And by more info, that can be obtained by looking at, let's for example, LinkedIn page or home page of the website itself or any other page, right? Pages. You can look at Google business profile if they're a local business. You can look at that. You can look at reviews. So reviews can be from Google or it can be from other sources. For example, G2 in case of tech companies, or I don't know, Trustpilot if you're reaching out to agencies or stuff like that. So pretty easy to actually get more info on any company. And if you're getting more info on that company, you can probably tweak that. If you're reaching out to, for example, one decision maker per company, you can use the relevant info about the company to actually use it for that decision maker. If you're reaching out to multiple decision makers and it's a big company, then it's a little bit more involved. So what you'll need to do is, like, along with these four kinds of information, you'll probably uh, obviously you don't want to waste time in enriching like all four of these things. You only need like one or two at most. So you need like one to two of these at most, right? And if you're reaching out like to like multiple decision makers of a bigger company, maybe you'll be reaching out to, I don't know, like sales VP or marketing VP, not exactly the founder or the owner or the co-founder of the company, but slightly like one or two rungs below that. So you'll be reaching out to certain vice presidents or directors, like managing directors, managing partners, and so on. So, um, like you could also look at other relevant info just for that particular decision maker at the company. So you could look at their LinkedIn profile, you could look at their, I don't know, their some other profile. Let's say they have their other website page as well, or they have like an about me info on their website, on their company website. That's also a good information that you can tweak that first line of the email and just make it more relevant to that person, to that specific person. But you don't need to worry about doing this for smaller companies. At least less than 50 headcount companies, you could probably get away with using most of the company relevant details that you get. Once you do that, you are actually setting yourself up for success, right? You are building a list of relevant information about the company. Like, you're building some knowledge base about the company that is not available easily. Most people do not do this. Most people will give up. Most people will write just generic emails because they don't know how to write good copy, right? So you want to reference one of these, some information from the things that you got here. And I go into detail about how to get this data exactly from company names or company domains or people profile information and so on. In my previous video, you can look at yesterday's video or the day before that video. I go into detail about the tools that I use and the platforms that I do it with, and how I use AI as well. I haven't made a detailed video on AI yet, but subscribe for that. If you want, I can just take into account. If you have an idea, just comment it below and I can definitely try to make a video around that. But going back to relevance, this is how you do it. um, the second part is offer. So let's do it here. So offer is essentially you making a offer that a completely cold prospect. So cold prospect is different from a warm prospect, right? Warm prospect is essentially a person who already knows about your company. Cold prospect is a prospect who doesn't know about your company but has a problem that he could explore with you and get it solved from you, or from your services, from your agency, from your company. So warm prospect is essentially way easier to close, and people have like 75 to 80% close rates on these. For cold prospects, people have about 20 to 40% close rates at most. If somebody has like a 50-60% close rate on a cold prospects, maybe they are completely underselling their offer. So they have like an extremely low ticket offer that like every buy, like everybody is buying left and right, and they will be it will be better for them to actually increase their prices and close less people but still make more money with lesser clients. So cold prospects have a way less close rate versus a warm prospect, because cold prospect have uh, obviously they have a problem, that's why you're reaching out to them, right? But you need to be able to sell them properly. You need to be able to evoke their curiosity in a way that makes them wonder that, of course, if this problem can be solved, is this worth a conversation? And the purpose of email is only to generate a conversation. The purpose of email outbound is not to discuss back and forth about details about the offer, or details about the company, or details about how everything will work and timeline and all that good stuff will happen only on the call. So the purpose of email is only to get people on a call. And you want to be able to obviously, like, if somebody is interested, if you have filtered your list properly and if you're reaching out to them properly, they will be interested in the right offer. And if they're interested in the right offer, then it means that they are worth booking a call with. And if they're worth booking a call with, you should be able to sell it. So there's like three different stages. So the first thing is like you have to have like a cold traffic offer. And what I mean by this is that this is like composed of three components. The first thing is like deliverable. The second thing is like timeline. The third thing is that risk reversal or guarantee. So depending on the kind of industry that you're reaching out to. For example, in my case, I work with marketing and PR agencies. This is my agency. I have some case studies here as well. I have this long video about how I do things. You can definitely look at it and book a call if you want me to do it for you, or book a call for any other reason that you want. The link is also down in the description. That's the first link. It's a calendar. You can book a call. We can discuss for 30 minutes and see if it's a fit. But cold traffic offer is essentially like three components: deliverable, timeline, and risk reversal. Risk reversal is essentially a guarantee as well, depending on who you're talking to, right? So deliverable is essentially, and it looks like this: like, I'll bring you 20 leads in the next 30 days, or you don't pay a cent. This is a very simple cold traffic offer. This is like a lead gen offer that I have run multiple times for myself and my other clients who normally do like some kind of PPC or like marketing, like overall full uh, complete marketing, SEO, website design, and so on. So content marketing, PPC. This is like an extremely good converting cold traffic offer, and it's not that hard to convert. Like, it's not that hard to understand it, right? You have like a core deliverable of 20 leads. You have a good timeline, 30 days, which is not bad, and or you don't pay a cent. Obviously, you have to make sure that the amount of leads that you're promising here is relevant to the company that you're writing, like that you're sending it to, right? If your list is composed of, for example, companies of headcount, let's say 10 to 50 employees, and you're reaching out to them about lead generation, and you're reaching out to give them like 20 leads in 30 days, and most of these companies are like around, let's say, 500K in revenue, then it sounds good, right? In 20 leads, maybe they'll be able to close like four clients by 20% close rate, right? So 20 leads in 30 days sounds good. But if you're reaching out to, for example, I don't know, like a 200-person employee plus, right? And you're still selling lead generation, these people will have a revenue of at least like 10 million and plus, at least. This will probably be like 15, 20 million. But if you're reaching out to these big companies, they will only want to work with, there's a chance that they only want to work with like companies bigger than them. if they're working with companies bigger than them, then 20 leads in 30 days is not going to work because their target market is smaller than like the amount of companies that you can reach out to every single month. And if the target market is smaller, like like bigger companies, mid market or enterprise companies, you promising 20 leads makes you like a somebody who doesn't understand the market, or somebody who's a spammer essentially. So you'll have to promise something like, I'll give you, I don't know, like five good qualified leads in 30 days, or you don't pay a cent. This is how you can actually modify your offer depending on the prospects that you're reaching out to. Obviously, it doesn't matter. Like if it's a big company, they could be targeting like smaller companies as well, because they might have like a wide range of offers. So they could have like, I don't know, like offers starting from 2K per month to, they could have offers starting going to about 30K per month, right? So 2K per month is okay for a company doing, I don't know, like 300K in revenue. 30K per month is only okay for a company doing above like 20 million, 30 million in revenue. So you'll have to modify your offer based on the kinds of companies you're reaching out to. So essentially, this is a cold ready offer, and you can you can also have like a unique mechanism here. So one thing that did not mention here is that unique mechanism is essentially what separates you from other people doing the same thing as you are in the industry. And if you are reaching out to a market that gets like, I don't know, 5 to 10 cold emails per day, you have to stand out somehow, right? You have to make sure that your offer is better than the other people's offer, and your copy overall messaging is better than other people's. In order to do that, um, you need to have probably a unique mechanism attached to this good offer. Once you have your offer, you can have a unique mechanism attached. So for example, in my case, I build extremely good email. Sorry, I would bring extremely good uh, customer avatar filters using AI, and I'm able to convey this unique mechanism properly in my emails. That's why I'm booking like 5 calls in every 10 days or something like that, right? Or like 10 calls in 5 days, like I made the previous video about. So, and then I book it with good companies who are making like more than $1 million in revenue, because that's kind of the sweet spot for me to work and grow their company with my services. So customer avatar filters using AI, you can have any kind of unique mechanism. You have to do this alongside building your offer, and once you do that, you're like almost unstoppable because this is like one of the things that will actually separate you. And you should not modify a cold traffic offer to make it seem convoluted. And if somebody cannot understand your email in like 5 seconds, you've already lost them, right? So your lead needs to be able to understand your offer, understand the value proposition for them, understand the risk reversal, understand exactly the timeline that you're offering it in, and see, in their brain it should click in within 5 to 10 seconds that it makes sense. Okay, they want to reply. And yeah, that's all about the offer. So the third thing is risk reversal. Okay, I think I've already talked about it. So risk reversal is fine. I can add another line about it, which is risk reversal. You need to have a thing like, you could have another sentence like, I did this for X company, where X is a variable that you want to put. Or you could just, you don't want to put a variable, you can just put like an exact company name that you worked with previously and brought like extremely good results, right? I did this for ABC company, uh, and brought them like XYZ results. And I can do I can do something similar for you. This is like one good way of conveying that you've already done it. So, you know, this is the examples of work or case study thing. The problem with people writing about their case studies or actual previous results is that they start bragging about it, right? Bragging is okay, but you should do it in a way that sounds elegant, that sounds extremely professional, and it sounds like, you're not bragging your results, but you're actually conveying it to them that you are qualified enough to solve this problem for them because you've already solved it for this previous company, right? So bragging is okay, but you have to do it in a professional and elegant manner. Once you do this, you'll actually have something like this. So let me just write a quick one for you. So I did this for another agency and produced. Okay, I did this for another agency and produced, I don't know, like 52 leads in 20 days. And think your I think I can bring you at least 30 in the next week or so, next 2 weeks or so. Instead of saying another agency, you could just name the agency, right? This is exactly how you write case studies or actual results. For example, you can say, we grew XYZ company from 30K per month to, I don't know, 72K per month in less than 2 months, completely through cold outbound. Thought this was relevant to you, so wanted to reach out. This is how you actually, combine your example of work, your case study, and your offer like in one, right? This is actually promising a lot of things. And once you write this, okay, where did it go? Oops. Okay, yeah, this one. Once you write this, you can also include a risk reversal here, right? So risk reversal will look like this. So I am confident that I can bring at least, I don't know, 50K in the next month for you, top line, or you won't pay me a dime. This is a really good offer. If you look at the entire thing here, we have a good case study with a timeline. We have a unique mechanism, and obviously you can modify cold outbound to have like a specific, like other names, like anything else that you're telling your prospect. Considering that you have like a good website already built. For example, in my case, I write certain stuff like I speak about certain stuff like generic outbound is dead, and what kills outbound campaigns in 2026 and what actually builds meetings, and I have this complete before and after reply rate stuff. So you want to convey it in a way that you have this case study, unique mechanism, and this is your offer. This line is not exactly necessary, but it sounds natural. It sounds like it's a one-on-one conversation between like two people. It doesn't sound like it's automated. It doesn't sound like it was blasted to 5K people, right? So you have this. You could obviously include it if your email is not getting too big. You do not want email to be like more than, I don't know, like 100 words or so, but you could get away with certain kinds of offers. The market can essentially surprise you, so you should test different offers, obviously. The other thing good about this is that this is your offer, you know the risk reversal and the guarantee that you won't pay anything if you can't add like 50K in top line revenue. So yeah, this is how you write copy. This is how you construct different components of the email that actually converts. Finally, we have the CT and the signature. I think we can tackle these two together. So The CTA is essentially, can I send you more info about this? Or will you be open to a quick chat about this? Or, can I share a case study? Can I share an example XYZ here? And XYZ could be, for example, in case of PPC agencies, you can share like three or like five different ad scripts, or you can send like, or you can just create a UGC video and just send it over. You can you can upload it to Google Drive. You can share that Google Drive link and just send that link over, and somebody will look at that. You generated this great email creative ad creative for them, just completely to get them on a call and decide to work together, and they will be like completely blown away by your tenacity, and they will actually want to work with you. And yeah, these are some examples. So what's happening here is that, one, you can either have a very low friction ask. So low friction ask is essentially, if you can send an info, or if you can send a lead magnet. I hope people here know about what a lead magnet is, but a lead magnet is essentially, a website URL with showcasing some work that you've done before, or a PDF, or a, like I said, like UGC video creative, and so on and so forth. Depending on your industry, you can have like any kind of deliverable that conveys. It can be a Loom video as well, like that also works. So it could be a different deliverable according to that industry. And this is a very low friction ask. This is just sharing more information, and they do not your prospect in the email does not have to commit to anything to reply with, okay, sure, send me more info. This is like an extremely low effort reply. You can do this all the time. The other thing is high friction ask, but this is like more rewarding. Why? Because if you are asking something like, would you be open to a 15-minute call tomorrow? If you ask this directly to a client as a CTA, you're literally reducing the amount of emails back and forth that you'll need to book a call by at least like 2x. So in this case, for example, let's say the first email will be about you sending the email, like the actual cold email. The second will be the reply, okay, send me more info. The third will be, okay, this is the info. Would you like to book a call to see how it works? The fourth will be them replying, okay, yes, let's book a call. Fifth will be you sending the meeting link. And sixth is essentially them booking a call. So it's like 5 or 6 different steps, right? Here in a high friction ask, they will literally look at your offer, and in this case you have to your email has to be a little bit more detailed than a generic offer, right? So once you do this, you can send the first step is cold email, the second step is okay, let's book a call, and the third step is meeting link. So you are essentially booking a meeting in like 3 steps instead of 6, right? So you're reducing the amount of time it will take to book a meeting. So if you send a cold email on Monday, you'll be putting a meeting by, I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday. Instead of here, well, you'll be lucky to book a meeting by Thursday or Friday. Obviously, low friction ask is like way more easier to convert, and high friction ask is higher, like worse to convert. But I always try to do high friction ask for me, myself and my clients, because I have this unique way of writing emails. I'm pretty good at writing emails at this point, and it's become quite easy to actually step into the prospect's shoes and understand exactly what they will reply to, and they end up replying. So yeah, you can try both of these. And one advice that I can give you is that if you do not know exactly how to write good copy and long copy, you should start with a low friction ask, and you can start with like a smaller email. If you already know how to write good copy, and if you can actually sell properly in the email itself, you should write a longer email with a more detailed value proposition, more detailed offer, more detailed unique mechanism, more detailed risk reversal, more detailed personalization. and you can have like a high friction CTA, right? So this is the only advice that I can give on CTA. It's pretty simple, and as for the signature, signature can be depending on the industry. For example, law firms or accounting firms, they'll need a little bit more than just your first name or second name, full name. So you can write like full name, XYZ. For example, you can write founder ThrivingArc, which is my agency. Um, I can write my name, or you can write something like, I don't know, Yash. Just write it as a first name, and that's it. Depending on the industry, both of these convert, obviously, but if you're talking to lawyers, this will convert way better than this one. If you're talking to healthcare clinics, this will convert way better than this one, because this sounds like somebody is immediately selling you something, and this one sounds like it's casual and it's like you're having a one-on-one conversation. For my case, in marketing and PR agencies, I have tried both, and it's like for different emails, both of them work. So that's the thing that you'll have to test again. So testing is like one of the best things about cold outbound. It's like you can test like 3 to 5 different offers, all like on a rotating basis every single month, and this just discover that like one offer works like way better than the other offers, and many times you will be surprised. I have been surprised so many times, and you will be surprised as well. So this is all about CTA and signature that I wanted to talk about. The only thing that's left is the subject line. So subject line is essentially, this is how I will write. Cold email is essentially, all of these components, but the subject line is essentially you asking a very small relevant thing that looks like an internal communication, that doesn't look like a cold email. So you can have like a question, first name, question, or you can have, oh, whoops, question, or you can have uh, first name, question mark, or you can have, or you can just have quick question, or something relevant to the industry. For example, uh, 10, 20 meetings, or, consultation. Just one word or two words. Like you will be surprised how good these kinds of subject lines work, right? It's like the best way to do it is, keep it vague, but also, it should sound like internal communication. It should not look like a cold email is, like uh, most people will just delete the email or mark it as spam if they see something like, book 5 meetings in all caps, or, get 20 leads. These kinds of stuff should be reserved for the actual email copy, actual offer, actual case study, actual risk reversal, that kind of stuff. You should not make your subject line try to do more than it should be doing, which is just getting people to open the email. Opening the email is the only purpose of the subject line. If you try to do more than that, it'll actually end up backfiring. So don't do that, and just keep the email line like simple, 1 to 2 or 3 words at max, and extremely like vague, but it should look like it should look personalized, right? And sometimes you can have certain tricks, like you can just make the first name be lowercase. So instead of Mark, whoops, Mark, you can just do Mark and question mark. So these kinds of stuff, you won't believe how good it converts, right? So just try this, test different things, and see what works. And yeah, that is all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching this. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment below, and I'd be happy to um, give you some pointers from my experience. Book a call if you want to work with me, and that's the first link in the description. And also please comment, subscribe and comment as to whether there's any other topic that you'll want to see more videos from me about. I have been trying to make like different subjects, different topics around cold outbound that actually works in 2026, and what I'm seeing with myself and my clients. And yeah, if you'd like me to do that for you, just book a call, or just let me know if there's any questions. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.